Hey everybody, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give you my thoughts on the WWE Fastlane 2016 pay-per-view, or should I say, Fast Lame. In my opinion, this was one of those WWE pay-per-views where if you missed it, you really did not miss much. And I feel that I am not alone in this opinion. I've looked on NoDQ.com and the poll results for Fastlane, and already it's been overwhelmingly negative reviews for the show, fans giving the show a thumbs down. And I have to agree because I feel that this needed to be a big deal. This pay-per-view needed to get people excited about WrestleMania, and I feel that WWE failed. Very few of the matches on this show did anything to set up WrestleMania matches. Yes, we have our main event now, Triple H versus Roman Reigns, but it was extremely predictable. The match itself, the main event, was awesome, but the finish, Roman Reigns pinning Dean Ambrose, we all knew it was coming, and that's exactly what happened. And I just felt from a storyline perspective, this show fell very flat. And yes, the wrestling was good, but I really felt the storylines needed to be stronger, and there needed to be some sort of big angle on this show to make fans care about WrestleMania, and it just didn't happen. So that was a huge disappointment. Let's go over the matches here. The pre-show, Del Rio versus Kalisto, 2 out of 3 falls. Del Rio got himself disqualified by using a steel chair on the outside. After the commercial break, the second fall started, and Del Rio got the pinfall with the double foot stomp. Then you had the third fall. There's one cool moment when Kalisto countered Del Rio on the top rope with a Frankensteiner, as Ronaldo called it. And by the way, Ronaldo's announcing was amazing. It was like night and day. I wish he did the entire show. It would have made the pay-per-view better, at least from the commentary point of view. In the end, Kalisto got the roll-up for the win, and since he got a roll-up and not his finisher, that makes me think that this feud must continue, and we'll probably see another 4 or 5 Kalisto versus Del Rio matches. Would not shock me. But anyways, Kalisto did retain the title, and it was a good match to kick off the pay-per-view, or be the pre-show match, whatever you want to call it. The first official pay-per-view match was the Divas Tag Team match. I'm not sure when the last time WWE had a Divas match officially open the pay-per-view. I don't even remember if they've ever done it. If they have in the past, leave a comment on the YouTube channel, let me know. It's been a very long time if they've ever done it. But anyways, he had a Divas match opening the show. Sasha and Becky Lynch getting the win over Naomi and Tamina Snuka. And you had Sasha and Becky with the double submissions. And it's looking like a triple threat match now for WrestleMania. They're definitely keeping Becky Lynch strong, and that seems to be the direction that they'll actually do a triple threat match at WrestleMania. That at least seems to make sense with the storyline that they're doing. But with WWE, who knows what they really have planned. Then you had Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was very good. It would have been better if it hadn't been done several times already, but still, it was an entertaining match. Good quality match for pay-per-view. The crowd was hot. They billed Dolph Ziggler as being from Cleveland, so he got the big pop, although the crowd really loved Kevin Owens, and Owens at one point even said to Ziggler, "Your hometown likes me more than you." I thought that was great. Ziggler took some crazy bumps in this match. He took the Bret Hart front bump into the turnbuckle. That was cool. And there was a near fall with the super kick. You know, interesting back and forth match between these two. But in the end, Kevin Owens got the pop-up powerbomb and retained the IC title. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome." I'm not sure if I would say this match was awesome, but it was very good. Then you had the Wyatt family versus Ryback, Big Show, and who am I missing here? Kane. I can't even remember the guys in this match. This match I thought was boring. I felt that it was more belonging in the 1980s WWF. It felt like an old school WWF match with the big guys. Not that there's necessarily something wrong with that, it just felt out of place in today's WWE. And I just wasn't entertained with the match, and the crowd was dead for it. And what I found surprising is that the Wyatt family lost. And it was actually Luke Harper, who many would say is the most talented guy in the group, getting pinned by Ryback. So I don't understand the booking for this one, and it seemed like the Wyatt family were being pushed strong again, and then they lose this pay-per-view match, and there was no Wyatt family interference in the main event, so I'm really curious what's going on with the Wyatt family now, although maybe they'll just randomly attack somebody on Raw and set up another feud and then lose. I mean, who knows? So, the good guys won here in a surprise. Interesting. I'll just leave it at that. Then you had the Divas title match. Brie Bella challenging Charlotte. The crowd, besides doing the Daniel Bryan chants and doing the yes a little bit, they were dead for most of this match. The storyline was that Brie had a leg injury, and that played a role in the finish. Brie had the yes lock on, but Ric Flair interfered. And then Brie had a single leg crab on, but then she hurt her leg, and at that point Charlotte was able to get her in the figure 8 and pin her. It was an okay match, but really wasn't anything special. Probably best that there wasn't a title change, because it didn't feel like the crowd was fully behind Brie. They did cheer her, but largely due to her doing the Daniel Bryan moves. So it was probably best for Charlotte to remain strong here, beating Brie Bella, and I think, you know, whether it's Charlotte versus Sasha or Charlotte versus Sasha and Becky at WrestleMania, I think it was best for that match at WrestleMania for Charlotte to win here and have a good title defense. So in the end, I think that this was the right move. And then you had AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Another really good match from these two. A little bit sloppy at times. I would not call it a classic, but it was still a very solid, entertaining match. You had Chris Jericho actually kicking out of the Styles Clash. So 1 month into his WWE career, somebody's already kicking out of AJ's finisher. But whatever. I mean, in the end, AJ won. He actually tapped out Jericho. After the match, Jericho teased a confrontation, but then ended up shaking hands with AJ Styles. So we'll see if this storyline continues now heading into WrestleMania, or if that is the end of it. Who knows? And then we had 2 filler segments in a row. Not 1, but 2. We had Edge and Christian bringing out the New Day for the Cutting Edge Peep Show. And this was a very bizarre segment. I mean, at times it was funny, and at times it was annoying, and at times it was boring. It managed to be all 3 at once for me personally. You know, Edge had a funny line when he mentioned the New Day, where he's never seen so much chocolate acting so vanilla in his life. That was a great line. I was expecting maybe Enzo and Cass to debut on this show, but no such luck. Instead, we had a interference from League of Nations, and that wasn't very entertaining. They came out, and you know, the segment kind of dragged and went on for too long at this point. The New Day ended up being challenged by the League of Nations, and the New Day ran. And the thing that's weird about this is it looked like, by watching the segment, that New Day was making a babyface turn, because at the end, you know, they're laughing with Edge and Christian as Edge and Christian mock the League of Nations, and you know, Christian's promoting the show, yelling "Watch our show," and Xavier's playing the trombone. So one would think the New Day are faces now, but I'm not really sure. The whole segment was just very bizarre. At times entertaining, at times it just dragged. So you know, one of those segments where it was a very mixed bag. Then you had another filler segment. You had the Social Outcasts against R-Truth, or should I say Curtis Axel versus R-Truth, with the other 3 guys at ringside. Goldust came out, tried to help, but it wasn't enough. Axel got the win over Truth, and Truth and Goldust argued after the match, and that was the end of it. Why this is on a pay-per-view and not Raw, who knows? I guess they just needed time to kill. Then you had the main event, which up until the finish, I would say was amazing. I mean, just a tremendous match, very physical. Brock Lesnar basically beating the hell out of 2 guys. Suplex City. Crowd was going nuts for Brock Lesnar. Lots of boos for Dean Ambrose. Finally, you had Ambrose and Reigns doing the double powerbomb from the Shield days on Brock through the announce table. And I should note that earlier in the match, Brock hit the F5 and was on his way to winning the match, but then Dean made the save at the last second. So Brock was that close to winning the match here if it wasn't for Dean Ambrose. Then you had Ambrose and Reigns fighting each other for a while, but then Brock got up from the table bump. So Ambrose and Reigns decided to do it again. A second power bomb through the table, and then they threw all the pieces of the table on top of Brock Lesnar, and then they continued Ambrose versus Reigns. Of course, Roman Reigns kicking out of the Dirty Deeds. What a shocker there. And then you had Brock coming back in the ring again, and as Roman had Ambrose up for a Samoan drop, Brock grabs Reigns and does a suplex and basically throws both guys to the mat. Really cool spot. Brock almost has the match won again, but then Ambrose comes in with a steel chair. He hits Brock with the chair. Brock gets knocked to the outside. Dean hits Reigns with the chair, but then Reigns is able to get up, hit the spear on Dean Ambrose, and wins the match. And that's the end of it. Roman Reigns wins. He's going to WrestleMania. They did the big fireworks celebration for him, but the crowd was booing. They were booing very heavily, and it was almost like the 2015 Royal Rumble again. All this pyro going off, and once again, the crowd just booing Reigns out of the building. Triple H comes out. They have this stare down, and I really could not care what was going on in the ring. I mean, to me, this is such an underwhelming match, and yes, this is the storyline that they've been building up for months now, but I'm just not feeling it. To me, this doesn't feel like a match that should be headlining 100,000 people in Dallas at WrestleMania. Just not feeling it. So that's my take on it. Very predictable ending to the show. And to me, like I said at the beginning, if you missed it, you really did not miss much. This was a very skippable show, and it shouldn't be like that with potentially your biggest WrestleMania ever coming up. So there you have it, my thoughts on the show, and looks like the beard is here to stay. So if you guys hate the beard, looks like it's not going anywhere for a while. The protest beard lives on, unfortunately, for many of us, including myself. So that'll wrap it up, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WrestleMania. Hopefully things will pick up on Raw and in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. One can only hope, though. So with that being said, I will see you guys next time.